Round 6 is one and done. Hello and welcome to the WNBL show. I'm Megan Hustwaite. Joining me this week as my co-host, the co-hostess with the mostess, is Steph Reid from Townsville Fire, and she is our player of the week in the Signet WNBL. Congratulations on that accolade and also on a big win.
Thank you. Yeah, it was so good to get the win, especially because we don't play again until New Year's. So it's like a little break. So going into that with a win is always very exciting.
So your player of the week figures 27 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds and 4 steals, and a career best performance in the WNBL.
Oh, yeah, it was exciting. I mean, I don't know. I just took what the defense gave me, I guess. And yeah, I'm just glad we won. Oh, it all doesn't matter if you don't win. So pretty happy about that aspect.
Well, 2 wins in a row now after a really good away win over Southside down here in Melbourne last week. Does it feel like that momentum is still flowing nicely after a couple of narrow defeats?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we're really happy to go into this Christmas break on the win. I think we're treating every game one game at a time. So we're trying not to fall into the momentum aspect and just make sure we're treating it one game. Every game is a new thing for us to tackle. So we've got all eyes on Boomers now, even though they've got multiple games before they play us. But we're pretty set on them and just making sure we're still locked in and focused, even if we're training before we take a few days off for Chrissy.
So New Year's Eve WNBL action in Townsville, and it was a bit of a tradition for a few years ago now with Townsville hosting Melbourne. I actually remember doing a story with Monique Conti when she was still at school and on the Boomers roster and spent New Year's up in Townsville playing for Melbourne. So it's obviously a bit over a week until New Year's. What does the next little while look like for the Fire in terms of practice, Christmas, having a few days off and then preparing for a big game?
Yeah, so we trained today, right back at it, had some film and review and, we made Shannon delete all the teaching points, but he still had a few up his sleeve, but we tried our best. But then, we'll keep training. We'll take time off between the 23rd to the 26th and then we're back. I think, we're all just super used to the routine now of training and, we'll take some time away with our families, but we're all excited to get back as well and get ready for that New Year's Eve game. It'll be awesome. And I think a lot of fans are really excited to come. So it should be a big one.
There's something special, I reckon, about this Townsville group, not just in terms of the wins that you're putting together, but the chemistry. You all seem to get along really well. And I think that's a huge factor in a team that might go on and have success. I know you were off at the movies over the weekend together. What does Christmas look like? Because you have got 2 imports, of course, in the team who will be away from their families and countries over this period.
Yeah, so for Christmas, everyone's going home. Obviously, besides our imports and Crystal as well, she's staying because she's from New Zealand and the flights are a little bit pricey. So, Tiana's, our closeness off the court extends to the support staff. So I think Tiana's going to spend it with our physio and his family and his partner as well. And then I think Carly's going down to Melbourne. She has a few friends that she knows down there. So everyone will go away and I'm sure we'll all miss each other a lot. But it'll be a little bit of time and then everyone will come back together and I'm sure we'll be having breakfast dates in no time.
Now, it's been an unbelievable year for you. Of course, the start of 2022 was the back end of the last WNBL season and you finished that on fire. And then into an NBL 1 campaign, championship. You won really everything that was on offer individually. You represented the Opals for the first time this year and now you're having a great WNBL season. So how would you reflect on what 2022 has been like for you on court?
Yeah, it's been an exciting year. I mean, obviously last season we had a few injuries and everything that gave me a lot of opportunity. So, we didn't have the best team year in terms of our wins and losses, but it was a good opportunity for me to get my feet wet in the WNBL and transition into that starting role. And then, I've just been working so hard with Shannon. I mean, he's just such a huge part of any of the success I've had. I mean, he's someone that has believed in me since the moment he met me. And that belief takes you very far. So it's been really exciting and it's been fun. And I'm really excited for what next year brings, especially with the second half of the WNBL season. Like you said, our team is real special. and I just can't wait to play with them for another few months.
It's been an exceptional player-coach relationship between you and Shannon, which now spans 12 months of the year across NBL 1 and WNBL. You started your WNBL career at Dandenong, which then became Southside Flyers, and you have been at Townsville now for 3 seasons. So as you said, you attribute much of your success to Shannon, but it's been a wonderful partnership between the two of you.
Yeah, he's just so dedicated to each and every one of his players, and I've definitely done everything I can to soak that up. So yeah, staying and playing in the off season and training with him every day and watching a lot of film, so much film. God, that guy loves to cut up tape. But yeah, it's been really fun, and I think our relationship on the court and off the court has grown a lot. Like, I trust him with my life, and he trusts me with the team on the court. So it's a really good relationship. It's grown a lot, and I think it's definitely helping the both of us this season.
And when we talk about film, this time of year, we're not talking about Home Alone either. Home Alone 2, 3, 4, 5. We know Shannon loves
Sometimes.
Christmas. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he loves Christmas. I actually sent him a little video last week because I went to see Home Alone in orchestra with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and it was amazing. And I was like, I know someone who's going to appreciate this, and they wear a Christmas jumper. And I'm sure Shannon was happy to see some film that, wasn't necessarily Townsville and their opponents.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. My goodness. All he does is watch our game tape. Bloody hell.
This is why he is a marvel. As we mentioned, you made your debut for Australia at senior level during the year. One of the greats to have done that for the Opals is Michelle Timms, and there's a beautiful photo of you and Timsy when you're a little tacker attending one of her camps. And hi, Morgan Yeager.
I know, sorry about that. To our housemates. Yeah.
Who do you live with?
Sorry to
Steph?
interrupt.
No, this is what we love about the WNBL show.
Spadden and Morgan Yeager. Yeah, they're my 2 housemates. So Spatty's taking a nap.
Morgan's creeping around.
She won't be walking in and out.
Morgan might join us and say g'day as the show goes on. But back to Timsy. She published a bit of a Michelle manifesto on the weekend about her thoughts on the WNBL season to date. And one of the best points of that was that she believes you will be at Paris. And when we talk about Paris, that is the next Olympic Games coming up in 2024. For someone who, you admired her as a pure point guard growing up, you went to her camps, she's been a big fan of you. What's it sort of like to get that feedback from a legend like her?
It's unreal. Someone said that to me over the last 24 hours, and I was kind of in shock. I mean, obviously, from her point of view as a point guard, it's like amazing to be recognized by someone of her stature and ability. But yeah, she's literally my idol. So it was really cool when we played Melbourne Boom, and she was sitting on the sideline, and I was walking to the locker room at halftime, and she's like, "Hey, Steph." I was like, oh my gosh. She actually calls me by my first name. So yeah, I mean, it means the world to hear anything come from her mouth that has my name in it, even if it's not even the right Steph. I'm like, did she say my name? So yeah, it's amazing. I mean, she's unbelievable, and yeah, I've had a fortune. Yeah, I got to meet her, and she even said my name at halftime. It's been pretty cool. So yeah, it means a lot. It does. It definitely does.
A pretty amazing endorsement as we lead into another Olympic campaign, and let's hope you are there running the point in Paris. Let's move on and take a look back at round 6 now, Steph, and it started way back last Wednesday night in Bendigo. Great to have the game of the round on ESPN in Bendigo, and they continued their unbeaten run, defeating Sydney 85-75. There was a lot of action in this game. Namely, Sydney coach Shane Hill was ejected from the game in the second quarter. So that changed things up in terms of assistant coach, and an Opals legend in Shelley Gorman took the reins late in the second quarter and beyond halftime. But this was a super tough and competitive game, and I think Sydney are certainly improving, aren't they? To come within 10 of Bendigo shows that their progress over the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Sydney's a team, they just play really, really hard consistently for 40 minutes. So, like I think they're a team that they're going to definitely cause some upsets this year, hopefully not against us. But, they're just tough and, they've got a really good dynamic duo with Tiana and Shy. And then obviously Jocelyn Willoughby is an absolute machine. I mean, she gets buckets. So, yeah, they're tough. And I think, to show that they can compete for 40 minutes with Bendigo just shows how good they really are. And, they're not ever that far out on their losses. So, yeah, I think they'll cause some upsets this year, but hopefully not against us. Goodness me.
So Jocelyn Willoughby had 22 points. Both teams had 4 players in double figures. Bendigo are a superb story of their own. We know the changes that they've had over the off-season in terms of ownership, coach, returning players, all that kind of thing. It has been a team effort literally in every game, and Kelsey Griffin is she just looks happy to be back on her home court where it all began in the WNBL for her. She had 24 and 11, but they, as you know, because you lost to them recently, they're so hard to shut down because they are tough in every position, and then they've got depth going right down the bench.
Yeah, definitely. They've got a very deep team, so that's obviously a strength they have. But yeah, Kelsey Griffin, I mean, she's unbelievable. Like, to be in this many seasons and to still be producing at such a high rate. Like, she's just everything that team needs. And whenever they need a bucket, she seems to find it. So, I think she's a winner and everyone knows it. But, yeah, they've got a lot of talent on that team and a lot of really hard-working players. So they're definitely a hard team to beat. And, yeah, I guess going into now undefeated is pretty cool. It's nice.
Well, KG23 is a competitive beast, as we know. Also love the work of Alicia Froling. She had a double-double. We spoke about her last week, but I think she's just a real-time definition of form, momentum and confidence. So loving the work of AFROL so far. Move on to Friday night now. Sydney back in action 2 days later, but it was their first home game at their new venue at the Key Centre. And again, it was a 10-point margin. They came up just short against the Melbourne Boomers after leading them for a lot of the game. Kayla George, a double-double, which has become a regular habit for her every round in this season so far. And then Keely Froling had a double-double too. But Melbourne, we know they're the defending champs, and they were able to come over the top of you guys a couple of weeks ago and get the win. I mean, there's a reason why they're so experienced and the defending championship winners.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're tough. And again, they're similar to Bendigo. They're strong in every position. So, and it's really, really good to see Mia doing well as well. That like they've obviously got their stars and their studs, but, it's just amazing to see Mia go down there and just be consistently great. Like, love Mia to death. I'm living in her house right now. This is her house. Hi, Mia's house. But, but yeah, that's what's making me really happy. Like, she's absolutely killing it. And yeah, they've been a really strong, solid team so far.
Some love to Famila Goodchild, who's come into the lineup as well. Speaking of all things Townsville, and we'll talk about her game later in the round. But it's a testament to the Boomers program that they can bring in new players. Mia, someone who's more experienced, Miller, someone at the start of her career. They've just come into this team seamlessly, played a role and played such a huge role in winning and getting early wins on the board in this WNBL 23 campaign.
Yeah, definitely. They're tough, and they are extremely physical and they're disruptive, and they have a good system that they run and they stick by. So I mean, I feel like when you have a good system, your team can have players come in and out as long as they stick to the role within that. And it's a credit to them on executing that. And yeah, it's great for Mila to come in, and she's doing what she does so well is shoot the 3 ball and shooting at a high clip.
Well, speaking of teams that have great systems, let's talk about the Fire, because you were 98-85 winners over Perth on Saturday night. Steph, of course, a player of the week performance from you. Tiana had a double-double. Lauren Nicholson had 19. So tell me about how this team is operating, because we are seeing different players really step up every week. It was Carly Samuelson last week against the Flyers. It's a very team-first ethos for this Townsville lineup.
Yeah, definitely. I think, we just have a bunch of like our whole team is selfless in the sense that they honestly just want to win. And we don't care who does it for us at the time as long as it gets a good result. So, yeah, it's cool having someone in every position that's willing to sacrifice for the team. And it's funny, like you have someone like Lauren Nicholson who, I'm used to being like, let's get you in every offense. And I said, oh, Loz, in the fourth quarter, I said, Loz, how do we get you in the offense? She goes, are you kidding me? You keep coming off ball screens. Like when you have someone like her, your captain, that you look up to, saying, no, you go. Like that's the mentality of our team. And I think that's the culture that we've set this year is just having people that want to win and that care for the greater good of the team. And yeah, I think it's definitely helping us and it will help us down the line as well.
Yeah, and it definitely starts from the top in terms of Shannon as the coach and then Loz as the captain. Let's have a look at Perth. They've had some losses, but they've played well in some of these losses too. So there's a lot of positive signs for the Lynx. They're just not getting the points on the board. Chloe Bibby 24-9 was really great to see, and then Sherfy 18-6 and 5 was flirting with the triple. What did you think of Perth?
Yeah, I mean, they're an unbelievably talented team. And I think their starters, I mean, Chloe Bibby, she's tough, but they show that they have someone in every position that can go for 30 in a game. So defensively, you have to be so locked in the whole time. Like you can't go to sleep. You can't have possessions off because they're just offensively weapons. I mean, and it starts from the point, with Sammy. She's an absolute threat. You've got to guard her even when you think you don't. So they're unbelievably talented and they've had a really tough schedule to start the season as well. So, they've played a lot of the top sides so far. So, I think they're a team that's going to keep getting better as the season goes on. And, I think they'll definitely collect a lot more wins before the season's over.
And a big week for them in terms of being on the road. We'll talk about that coming up in our preview of the coming round. But let's have a look at Sunday's game in Canberra now. Kristen Veal and Lauren Jackson have enjoyed so much success together in the nation's capital. Firstly, in that iconic AIS championship in 1999, and then as teammates with the UC Capitals, where they were taking out the title for many years during a dominant era. Now they are opponents as coach and player, with Veerley heading up the UC Caps and LJ back for career 2.0 with the Flyers, and this was the first time they've come up against each other in those roles. The Flyers running out 20-point winners, 92-72. But I want to shine the spotlight all over Nicole Munger, who in her third WNBL game was the top scorer for this match with 19 points. We talked a bit earlier about NBL 1, Steph, but this is an incredible story for someone who set the record for most points in NBL 1 this season to be able to get the opportunity in the WNBL and do this in just her third game.
Yeah, she's tough too. Like she hustles. It's not just offensive with her. And I think, she's obviously someone that is very, very capable of putting points on the board, but she's just what they needed. That she just comes in, she's happy to dive on the floor, she's physical, she's strong. Like defensively, she just gets after it as well. And I think she seems to be a winner. Like she's competitive and she just wants to compete. And I think, obviously a testament to her, she can, score the ball as well, but she brings so much more than that. So I think she's been a really good addition for them and she's only going to keep getting better as the season goes.
So no Schwagmeyer for the Caps on Sunday. We're hoping she'll suit up on Wednesday against Perth. But let's take a look at the Flyers, who are without Amy Roche and Abby Bishop, who have got some niggles at the moment. But Thornton, Potch and Blitzarves all had 16 points each. And when you've got the depth that Southside have, you can call on players like that to share the load.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how good was Potch? It was good to see her have such a good game. She's tough, she's physical. She's, again, good defensively. I love the defensive end of the court, So, they score a lot of points. But, yeah, she just brings so much energy and hype off the bench. And she obviously can get it done on the offensive end too. So, yeah, it was really good to see that from her. And, they have so much depth. Obviously, everyone that they bring in can contribute some way or another. So, they're a tough team in that sense, that's for sure.
And then our final game of the round was on Sunday in Adelaide, where Melbourne ran out 89-64 winners over the Lightning. It capped a big weekend on the road for Melbourne where they were tested by Sydney on Friday night and then Adelaide, and a big out for the Boomers in this game. They were without the leading scorer in the competition and my co-host on the WNBL show last week, Tiff Mitchell, who hurt her wrist against Sydney on Friday night. She flew back to Melbourne for scans, so didn't join the team in Adelaide. We hope she's okay because that is a huge loss. She's leading so many categories in this season, Steph.
Yeah, she's tough too. Like, again, she's just an absolute weapon, and she's shooting the ball really well this year too. You know, last year that wasn't her biggest strength, was the three ball, but she's obviously, and a credit to her, she's obviously a hard worker. She's put in the work. She's shooting the ball at an unbelievable clip this season, and then defensively she's a stopper. She can, you know, you put her on the best player and she can do a really good job at that too. So yeah, it's a huge loss for them, but Mila did an amazing job, you know, stepping up. So that was exciting to see for her.
Mila was great. She'll definitely be in the plays and highlights of the week for her triples that she kept sinking, but it was a real team performance from the Boomers. Love the continued confidence and form from Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She really had that breakout performance, unfortunately for you guys, against Townsville 2 weeks ago, but she's just grown in confidence. It's been something really special to see. And Kayla George had a double-double, which has become almost a guarantee for Kayla. She flirted with the 222. And then for Adelaide, Kirsten Bell's really starting to warm up for them, and she was sinking down some massive shots in Adelaide yesterday.
Yeah, she was. She had a really nice corner step back. I remember. I was like, wow, I don't even know. I thought it was a 2. But yeah, she got the 3 off. So, you know, she's a massive threat, and you know, she's been getting on the rim. She's shooting the 3. You know, when she came in, I think, you know, the scout was initially, she's a shooter. But now she's showing that she can get it done both ways. So she's definitely stepped up for them and been a really good addition this season.
Now, we know that your future lies with the Opals, and someone else whose surely does is Izzy Borlase, who she just continues to amaze us every week with her composure and really the season that she's putting together. She's the second leading scorer at Adelaide, and she did some really important things for the Lightning again on Sunday. She's so impressive.
Yeah, she is. She's tough, and she just, I don't know, she can just get a bucket. It's unbelievable. Like, there was a few times when me and Morgan were sitting on the couch watching the game, and I'm like, oh, that's tough. Like, some of the shots that she makes and the way that she finishes around the rim, it's elite level. Like, and to be doing that at her age, just, it's such a credit to her. I mean, she's so strong and she's got an amazing body for it. So yeah, I think she's going to definitely have a huge pathway in Australian basketball for a while to come now, and she's showing the league as to why she should.
She's so exciting, and just love that she's local SA talent playing for her state team in the WNBL. It's just a wonderful story. Now, let's take a look at the round coming up. Steph, you guys will be taking a bit of a seat and watching some of this action, but it tips off again on Wednesday night. Our game on ESPN is the UC Capitals and the Perth Lynx. I'm super excited for this, not just because I'm going to be there on sideline in the nation's capital, but I think this will be a terrific contest. Perth have headed to Canberra after playing, of course, in Townsville at the weekend, and then the Caps showed some good signs against Southside and will hopefully have Schwagmeyer back in. Do you reckon the Caps can get their first win here and maybe Christmas will come early for them?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think, you know, if they can tackle that defensive end of the court with Perth, I mean, yeah, they have a lot of scoring power and, you know, they're tough. But I think Perth are going to bring their A game. They're going to want to bounce back after the weekend. So, yeah, it'll be a good matchup. I'm excited to see it. And, you know, I think Jade has a lot to bring to that team. And I think, you know, she probably, I'm going to call it, I reckon she'll have a good game, like a big game. So we'll see.
You heard it first here from Steph Reid. Jade Melbourne v Sammy Whitcomb. I would go to Canberra just to watch that matchup live, that is for sure. Let's move on to Thursday night. Melbourne and Adelaide face off against each other again. This is for the series too. So Melbourne, we know, has taken the series, but this is the series complete before Christmas. This is at the State Basketball Centre. Adelaide will want to seriously improve on what was a disappointing second half on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure they've watched the film, or they will be. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see the adjustments that they make. I mean, both teams really. It's, interesting to be able to play a team back to back like that, because you get to really make a lot of adjustments and change your game plan if it didn't work. So I think, it'll be interesting to see the way that they adjust. And what makes this matchup interesting is the fact that, there's so many good little matchups in the game. And, I think it'll be really interesting to see Adota and the bigs from Adelaide going at it again. I think Adota definitely dominated the board. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, hopefully Adelaide can get one of the wins.
And Munro was in foul trouble, which sort of opened the door for Nelson Adota to really get into some form and turn the momentum the Boomers' way at the weekend. Hopefully Tiff Mitchell's back. Hope to see her going head-to-head with Steph Talbot. There's some great matchups coming up this weekend. Speaking of Friday night, we've got a doubleheader just before Christmas, so December 23. How about this? Bendigo Spirit hosting the Southside Flyers. This is a massive one. Bendigo undefeated, as we know, the best ever start to a season in franchise history. But it is the first time that they've played the Flyers. They haven't played either Melbourne team yet. This is going to be one to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited actually to watch that matchup. I think, it'll be interesting to see. We've got Bendigo, who are such a tough and really unbelievably good rebounding team, but there's a lot of size and good rebounders on that Southside team as well. So it'll be really good to see that matchup. Kelly Wilson and Rochi going at it will be really good to see. They're both quite physical defenders and both quite strong in guarding the ball. So, it'll be interesting to see them going at it. And yeah, I mean, it's just going to be tough. And I think it'll be a really good test for Bendigo before Christmas to see how those teams match up. And yeah, I don't know who's going to come out on top with that one.
It's been an interesting few weeks for the Flyers. They had a tough night in Perth but got over the Lynx, and then they fell to Townsville on their home court. Had a good win over Canberra, missing a few players. But you feel like, especially with that logjam beneath Bendigo between Melbourne, Southside, and also you guys at Townsville, if they can get a scalp in Bendigo, that will be a real shot in the arm for them going into Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the momentum I think they need going into that Christmas break. And yeah, I think they've definitely got a good opportunity here. Hopefully they can come in with some healthy bodies and a full squad. I think that'll make a definite difference. But yeah, it'll definitely be a good momentum shift for them if they can get that win.
And speaking of opportunities, our final game before Christmas is between the Sydney Flames and the UC Capitals. Now, last time they played, they were both winless. Sydney took the win for their first breakthrough of WNBL 23. Now, Canberra could already have a win heading into this game if they do get over Perth. Otherwise, they might be able to get it against Sydney. So it could be a great night for the Caps, or Sydney will get their second win of the season, and they've certainly been around the mark the last couple of games.
Yeah, definitely. I think, they'll come out really tough and physical, and it'll be about how Canberra handle that pressure, I think. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. There's some fun ones in there as well. So yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I couldn't pick who would win that one, but yeah, I think there'll definitely be some fun matchups, especially the point guard battle. Whether Jade, guards Shyla or Tiana, and vice versa. It'll be interesting to see that. And I'm obviously into the point guard battles, so I'm a little bit invested in watching and seeing.
It's such a closely contested season, WNBL 23, but it really feels that as things heat up, especially heading into what will be the second half of the season after Christmas and New Year, just talking through these games, there are just salivating matchups, key matchups across all of these games. So can't wait for all of the action. Game of the week, UC Capitals and Perth Lynx, Wednesday night, 5:30 on ESPN, and then the rest of the game stream live on 9 Now. Steph Reid, Christmas has come early having you here today, especially off a Player of the Week performance. Just perfect timing as usual. Thank you for an elite effort today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
It has been fun, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys back in action. New Year's Eve, of course, will be a big night up in Townsville. The Boomers have got a few games to play before then, but I'm sure you'll be pretty keen to get one back on them after a narrow loss to them on their home court 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially in a series, you've got to make sure that we can't lose this game. It's win or go home, really. I mean, that puts us down 2-0, so we'll be going in. We're definitely going to prepare as best that we can. And yeah, you never want to lose to a team twice in a row. And I think that we can hopefully make some really good adjustments yeah, we're all up and about. We're ready to play, and I think it's going to be a really good crowd, and we're excited to play in such a massive home crowd. We had a record crowd last game, so hopefully we can grow on that again for New Year's.
It's like 2,100 last game, wasn't it? It was fantastic.
It was good.
Great crowd.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Townsville do it so well, and what better way to ring in the year than ringing in the cowbells at the Townsville Entertainment Centre. We can't wait. Steph, thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks for joining us on the WNBL show. A very Merry Christmas to you and your families. Have a great festive period. Stay safe, and we will be back next week for the final WNBL show of 2022.